First look at OxygenOS 11 based on Android 11 from the OnePlus 8T running on the Poco X3 Pro. Hey peeps, what's up? Munchie here, back with another video, and in this video we're going to have our first look at OxygenOS 11 based on Android 11 from the OnePlus 8T running on the Poco X3 Pro. As you can see, security patch is from July 2021. The kernel they are using is OxygenOS kernel, and custom kernels unfortunately are not recommended, and this of course is a port from the Open Beta 7 of OnePlus 8. So this is how the ROM comes out of the box. Do note the build is permissive. OEM ROM ports are not enforcing. If you want them to be enforcing, feel free to write the SE policy and send it over to the developer. You do have your OnePlus launcher out of the box. You can access your hidden applications. Another important thing I would like to mention is that make sure you update all your applications from the Play Store once you install this ROM. And as you can see, once you take a screenshot, you do get a pretty cool looking quick share menu once you press and hold on the screenshot which you have taken. Then you can also access your Google feed. Again, everything is pretty smooth and pretty fast, 120 Hertz, working like a boss out of the box. Next up, let us have a look at the quick settings panel. So this here is your quick settings panel. You can of course edit and add more tiles in case you want to. Zen mode is present. Do note this is the new Zen mode which lets you create a room with your friends in case you want to do that. Other than that, you also have a tile for FPS info overlay which can be seen on the top right of the screen, and you also have something called Xiaomi parts. So what is this Xiaomi parts? Well, for starters, it has a toggle for your FPS info overlay. Then it also has something called display calibration, or what some of you might know as Kcal. Once you enable this, you can of course enable to run this guy on boot as well, but you can change your RGBs. As you can see, everything is working without any issues. Then you can change your hue, contrast, saturation, all the other things. Of course, if you mess up, you do have a reset button on the top right as well. As for the volume panel, this is how the volume panel looks like. It is on the correct side, and you also have the button to enable or disable your live caption. Recents, bam, here it is. This is how the recents look like. Everything is pretty smooth. You can of course use the icons at the bottom to switch between the different applications as well, and you also have a clear all button at the bottom. Press and hold on the empty space on your home screen, go into home settings here, and you can customize whether you want to see the Google feed or not. Double tap to lock. You can change the launcher layout. You also have hidden space, can change the icon packs as well. But if you go into wallpapers, you will be surprised to see the awesome never settle wallpaper collection on this ROM, and trust me, it is something really very special. And before I forget, you do have the OxygenOS screen recorder baked in, but do note that OxygenOS 11 screen recorder does not, and I repeat, does not let you record internal audio and microphone at the same time. So that is something which you can blame OnePlus or Oppo about it. Then if you go into settings, you do have the new settings UI. Of course, go into display, you can change your brightness. Go into advanced, you do have screen calibration. So three different options: vivid, natural, advanced. Once you select advanced, you get three more options: AMOLED, sRGB, and display P3. Of course, you can change the warmth using the slider as well. Go into resolution, you have FHD or QHD. Of course, your display does need to support QHD for it to be working. Go into refresh rate. Surprise, surprise, you now have three different options: 120, 90, and 60. Yes, 90 Hertz has been added to this build. And another surprise, your games which support high refresh rates should work in 90 and 120. Make sure you do have 120 selected over here. Again, for your games to be running in the high resolution they support, 120 needs to be selected. Even if the game supports 90, you do need to select 120. Another thing, sometimes you might notice that the refresh rate is stuck at 60, and that is because you are running a port, and partly Xiaomi is to blame for that. So make sure that you reboot your device in case you get into a situation wherein the refresh rate is stuck at 60. Then you can of course hide the punch hole camera as well in case you want to, and the corners are rounded for those of you who do not like the square edged corners. Then you can also choose what all apps you want to run in full screen. Vision comfort is present, working without any issues. Then you also have reading mode, two different options, chromatic and mono, both of those working. Dark mode is present, of course. With Android 11 you can schedule your dark mode based on time as well. Going to ambient, you do have your lift up display, works absolutely fine. Always on display is present, works like a boss. Of course, expect some excessive battery drain with always on display enabled. Then you can add a message to your lock screen as well, and horizon light also works. Then you can change the font size. Going to status bar, you can customize your battery style, so three different options. Then you have a toggle to enable the battery percentage, network speed in case you want to see your seconds in the time. Go into icon manager, you can customize what all icons you want to see in your status bar. Next up, we can go into customization. So out of the box, you will not get the Canvas AOD, but you can always download the application for Canvas from OnePlus from the Play Store. Once you do that, it is going to work absolutely fine. With respect to clock on your ambient display, you do have a bunch of different options. Bitmoji is there, works absolutely fine along with your inside clock. So different options are there, along with customization of color for your horizon light, four different options for that. Then you can change the accent color, you can change your icon style as well, four different options for that. Icon pack along with the option of choosing between Roboto or OnePlus Sans font is there. And if you're going to theme, you can of course use the Cyberpunk 2077 theme. What might be missing is the Cyberpunk 2077 live wallpaper, which again is linked in the description of the video in case you want that. Going to sound and vibration, you do have your different sliders. Then if you go into phone ringtone, you can change the vibration patterns and intensity when you get an incoming call, and you can also set a different ringtone for each SIM card as well. Other than that, you can customize your system sounds, and you also have a toggle for touch vibration along with Dirac sound enhancer as well. And while we are talking about sound, you do have system wide Dolby present in this build, and it works without any issues. Go into apps and notifications, let us say see all apps, go into Chrome, and then you can go into mobile data and Wi-Fi, so you can limit whether an application has access to Wi-Fi data and your mobile data or not. Other than that, you can configure your default apps, and if you go into notifications, you can go into advanced, and then you do have notification history. Once you enable the toggle, bubbles are present. Do note WhatsApp does not support Android 11 bubbles, and priority conversations are also present, working without any issues. Go into buttons and gestures. Here in alert slider, of course we do not have it, so it's not going to work for us. And next up, in your buttons and gestures, you do have customization for your navigation gestures. So you can either use the 3-button navigation in case you want to do that, or you can use your gestures. You do have the option of hiding your bottom bar. And while we're talking about the gestures, let us test them out to see if you have any issues. So nope, no issues in the gestures. They are working absolutely fine. Next up, in buttons and gestures, you do have your 3-finger screenshot, again working without any issues, along with the option of expanded screenshot. Then you also have double tap to wake. The other draw gestures won't work for us, so here it is, double tap to wake working without any issues. Double tap to sleep on your home screen also works without any issues. Next up, in settings, we can go back into buttons and gestures. You do have your double click the power button to open the camera, and press and hold the power button to either open the power menu or Google Assistant, and this is how your power menu is going to look like. Next up, we have security and lock screen. So you do have fingerprint unlock, which works absolutely fine. You might notice like a minute slight delay, but it is almost negligible. Face unlock is present, working without any issues. Of course, Poco X3 Pro has a normal camera on the front, not an IR camera, so face unlock might not be as secure as your fingerprint scanner. Then we can go into battery. Herein they have added per app thermal profiles. Once you enable this toggle, you can choose between the different thermals, and if you choose gaming or say benchmark, then you will have the option of touch control as well. So you can enable game mode and then configure your touch response, touch sensitivity, and the touch resistant area for a specific game in case you want to. Other than that, in battery you do have your battery saver, battery optimization, and some numbers about your battery. Next up we have utilities. So you do have dual apps working without any issues. App locker is present. Do note, app locker will work only with your fingerprint and pin. It won't work with face unlock. Then you have a toggle for pocket mode as well. Go into system, you do have your different languages and input, so that is present. You can turn off your OTG after 10 minutes of inactivity once you enable this toggle. And of course you also have your Xiaomi parts, something which we already covered about using the quick setting tile. Next up, with respect to the applications which come baked in. So for your dialer and messages, you do have the Google dialer and messages, and you do not have a camera app installed. However, in case you want the OnePlus dialer and OnePlus messages along with the recommended Google camera and the configuration, feel free to join their group, which is linked in the description of the video. Check out the notes in their Telegram group and you should be able to get access to the APKs for OnePlus messages, OnePlus dialer, and the Google camera application. While we are talking about the camera, another cool feature they have added is the green dope looking ring light around the camera when you access the front camera. There it is. You can see the animation does look pretty cool. Let us have a look at it one more time. There it is. Super cool, super dope, working without any issues. Next up, you do have the games application as well in case you game on your device. DRM info Widevine L1 is out of the box as long as you had L1 on the previous ROM which you are switching from. With respect to your safety net, the device is not rooted right now. I have only installed the Magisk application to check for safety net, and as you can see, safety net is passing out of the box. We can also go to the Google Play Store and herein we can check for device certification. Here it is, device is certified, which means you should be able to use your banking apps without any issues. With respect to YouTube media playback, everything works absolutely fine. Live caption works, picture in picture works. Of course, for picture in picture to work, either you need to have YouTube Premium or you need to be in a specific country in case you do not want to pay for YouTube Premium. With respect to your Google Photos, you either get original quality or you get the storage saver options. Those are the only two options which you have, and the assistant lady is present and she's ready to help you with the screen turned on and with the screen turned off as well. With respect to the other apps which are baked in, you do get the new weather application along with the new gallery application as well. All the features are working without any issues. So all in all, in my humble opinion, this is another great build of oxygenos available for the Poco X3 Pro, and of course you do have to thank the developers behind these awesome builds who do this for free. And there it is, peeps. That was our first look at the oxygenos 11 based on Android 11 from the OnePlus 8T Open Beta 7 running on the Poco X3 Pro. And that will do it for this video. Hope my video helped you. Likes, shares, and subscribes are appreciated. Feedback and comment more than welcome. See you when I see you.